Welcome. This is Back to the Bins. I'm your host, Mr. B. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you've been here before, thanks so much for coming back, and if you're new here, thanks so much for stopping by. This is a comic book collecting channel, and I'm a comic collector. These Sunday videos are intended to showcase the books I picked up this past week at my local comic shop. I've got a pull list, so I'm pretty familiar with what's happening in comics today. I love digging through the dollar bins, and I love digging through the back issue bins. So, if that sounds interesting to you, and you'd like to join me on my journey back to the bins, why don't you take a look over here, and I'll show you what I picked up. Alright, and like I said, these are the books I picked up this past week at my local comic shop, 204 Comics in Winnipeg, and as per usual, we start in alphabetical order, and that takes us to, the variant bin. Yeah, the LCS has a variant bin, of course, because they buy the ratioed quantities required for these types of ratioed variants. So here we have The Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 66. That's a Chris Samney cover. That's a 1 in 25 variant. So that's a few issues back. I actually had $15 store credit for some reason. And when I went to pay for my pulls this week, the LCS asked if I'd like to cash those in, and I was looking at this, but I was like, it's $12.99, I don't need it right now. There was two in there, but I thought, man, I had a $15 credit, I'm taking it. Chris Samney, one of my absolute favorite artists today. I think his work is just spectacular. This is an awesome cover. Look at it. Spider-Man swinging through the city. It's something that I eternally love. It is who he is. So awesome, so beautiful. Love that. And in keeping with Spider-Man, but getting into what came out, this would have been last week because there were still some distribution issues, but the LCS has moved over to different distributors, so things are starting to pick up again. That's nice. But here we have The Amazing Spider-Man number 69. This is the Ed McGuinness cover A. One more issue of The Amazing Spider-Man with his creative team, and then it moves into a whole new world again. ASM number 1. Are you picking it up? I'm going to get a couple of the issue 1 variants. I might collect it just to issue 5, just to have a look. There's some really nice covers coming up, so, you know, me as a cover collector, you gotta do it once in a while. Speaking of which, here we have The Amazing Spider-Man once again. Look at this. This is pretty cool, pretty classic. This is issue number 69, once again, the Amanda Connor Invisible variant. There's been a lot of stuff going on with the Fantastic Four, so here we've got an invisible variant, of course, to that iconic cover. Take a look at it right there. Of course, this is facsimile. This is an homage to that Amazing Spider-Man reveal of the black suit. Super awesome. I love that. I love seeing everybody in the background, and I love that classic look and the invisible touch to it. Super neat. And yes, I'm drawing a blank as to the issue number of that particular comic, so forgive me. Over to the dollar bins. Couldn't say no to this. This was, I think, 50 cents. But here we have the Avengers King-Size Special, number 4 from August of 1970. Got a Sal Buscema cover there. Jack and Stan doing story and writing. This is just classic Silver Age. I guess it's not... I'd still say it's Silver Age. But just look at everybody, just the great characters on the cover. This is so cool. I couldn't say no. It's in beat up shape, of course, but whatever. You know, pretty cool. Love that. Love that. Over to DC now. Here we have, collecting for the covers, Batman, Superman, World's Finest. This is issue number 37. This is a great Dan Panosian variant cover. Love Dan Panosian's work. A lot of his stuff popping up again on DC covers, so it's nice to see. Kind of the square head or the square cowl Batman seems a little odd, but I don't know. I'm not going to criticize Panosian's work. I still love this. This is super cool. It's great to see the two mainstays of the DC world together. Always is. Speaking of the Caped Crusader, here we have Batman and Robin, Year 1, issue number 6. I love this book. I think this is a really fun title. I would look for this in the trade. The artwork is absolutely stunning, of course, because we've got, once again, Chris Samney doing that. This is just a fun book. It's a good romp with Batman and Robin being kind of a young adolescent pest. Classic, I suppose. Love this. Beautiful cover, of course, getting all those Chris Samney covers. But there's also some great variant covers. And we got this one this week for Batman and Robin Year 1, issue number 6. This is Cliff Chiang variant, and I think this is great. It's got that almost sepia tone look to it, but you know what you're looking at. Again, much like last week, we had the sort of look from looking up view of a city. I guess it's a trope, but still, neat to see that again, and neat to see the Cape Crusaders coming after us. Love this. Fun book. Totally is. Keeping with DC, here we've got Catwoman, issue number 74, part of the All-In world. This is the Frank Cho variant cover. I've been collecting these Frank Cho variants. Gonna keep collecting Catwoman to issue number 75, so we got one more issue to go, and I think there's one more Cho variant for issue 75. That's super cool. Love that. But also love Dan the Man Panosian putting out variant covers, like I said, for DC. Here we've got Catwoman, number 74. Once again, I may have knocked that out of the... Okay, whatever. This is, again, issue number 74, the Dan Panosian variant. I mean, look the difference in style between what we just saw with Batman, Superman, and then this. You know, once again, it's a case where you can almost hear her suit kind of squeaking as she walks. I love this. Super cool. And I can't wait for this run, or at least the run that I'm collecting, to end. And then I can go back and start collecting some of those earlier issues as well. Keeping with DC, there's always DC stuff, folks. I tell you, I'm becoming more and more of a DC fan, if not for the stories, but for the covers as well. Here we have Detective Comics issue number 1095, the Mikel Janin cover A. I thought this was a gorgeous cover. Again, looking up from a cityscape. I like that. Look at Batman. He's never looked better. That is beautiful. I'm going to be collecting this until issue number 1100. I want to collect that milestone. I love that. So that's what we're doing here. Just collecting for the covers. Think they have been producing great covers for Detective Comics. Here's a book that's taken forever, and I'm glad we finally got it. This is The Deviant issue number 9. It's a Josh Hickson cover A. This is the final issue, folks. Yes, this is a holiday massacre story. It's out there. It's weird. It's creepy. It's dark. And I wish this had come out in time for Christmas. Like, what better way to wrap up this story than for it to kind of end during the Christmas season? It was delayed, and now here we are at the final issue. You can see it's a James Tynion book, so he's probably been pretty busy, understandably so. Just wish they could have done it. It would have just given that extra feeling. I highly recommend this. Now that it's wrapped up, look for this in the trade. This needs to be read. This is a super, super cool book. Another sleeper, I think, really. Don't sleep on this. This is a great book. This is Dick Tracy, and we've got issue number 8. That's the Francesco Francavilla variant cover. I just have really enjoyed reading this. This is good, hard-boiled Dick Tracy noir-style crime. Good stuff. Really good, and I've loving these Francavilla covers. The portraits of the characters just really gets me, and this is fun. I love this book. It's a really fun read. Definitely worth looking into. This was a book that issue 2 I wasn't too thrilled with until the very end. Then I kind of felt like, okay, now I'm invested again. This is Green Hornet, Miss Fury, issue number 3. This is the Jonathan Case variant. I've been loving the variants. Been loving the close-ups and cover, the inclusion on the covers of the Lincoln that Green Hornet drives. Although Kato normally drives it, so if you're reading this, you know that there's a problem there. But this, a fun book. We'll see how it all plays out. It's a limited series, so we'll see if it gets better and ends on a high note. Otherwise, I think this could just be kind of a meh book as we go, but we'll see. Maybe this issue will change things. Like I said, the last issue kind of didn't care until the end, so we'll see. Back over to Marvel. Here we got Hell Hunters. This is issue number 4. It's a Declan Shalvey variant. I like this cover. Declan Shalvey was doing Thundercats, which I appreciated the artwork, but I just felt it was kind of not that good. But I love this cover by him. I think this is great. World War II, of course, we got everybody that you need to have on the cover. Super fun book too. Really liked it. First 2 issues have been really good. I got to get issue 3. That should be coming up soon for me in my rotation. But yeah, I think this is a limited series as well, so gonna go for the whole thing. I can't say no to World War II action, especially with all of these great characters. Love that. And then I figured I'd take a plunge into the old back issue bins. I found this beautiful cover, nice newsstand of the Invincible Iron Man, issue 134 from February of 1980. That is a Bob Layton cover. Super cool. Love that. I love Iron Man as a character. I don't collect too much of it, but I always look just to see what there is because I love a good cover. This is super cool, and from what I saw about the book, it seems like people have enjoyed it. So maybe we'll see how much more of this we can get, and maybe I can start reading it. And then back over to DC. Here we got a beautiful cover, just for the cover, of course, because it's Big Barda. This is the New Gods issue number 4, the Jenny Frison International Women's Day variant. My hat off to all of y'all, and I just can't say no to a Barda cover. This is awesome. I love Big Barda. Jenny Frison's work is always great. Yeah, I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to read it, although I hear this is a really good book. I was complaining not that long ago about just wishing that Barda had her own book, and it's apparent to me that this is probably the next best thing. We'll see. Maybe I'll find it in trade. Maybe I'll find the earlier issues because I didn't get them. But I can't say no to Big Barda cover. Back over to Marvel. Here we've got Phoenix. Issue number 9. It's the Todd Knock iconic variant. Been showing you these as I've been getting them. Haven't been getting them all, but I'm getting the ones that the characters I really like. I love Phoenix. This book is pretty good. You know, I would say it's worth taking a look at least. Some things are going to be changing in this book. I think it's still going for 12 issues, but there's this big story arc coming up, so we'll see what happens. A little controversial, not going to spoil it, but in terms of covers, Knock knocks it out of the park once again. Well, don't laugh at once. Keeping with DC, here we have got The Question, All Along the Watchtower, issue number 5. This is the Jorge Fornes variant. This is a 6-issue limited series. I have been getting an issue. How am I going to say this? The variants I have been collecting have been from 3 artists who have been doing these covers. So by the time I have all of these issues, I will have had 2 issues from a single artist throughout. So I'm going to showcase those to you because I think it's really cool. I love that. I love being able to do that. I love it when the variant artists, at least in a longer series, flow for a while, do things for a while. So I like that I can do this. This is fun for me, a little side project in the collection. Then back over to the dollar bins, we have got Secret Origins, starring Green Lantern and the Sandman, issue number 7 from June of 1986. This is the first appearance of Green Arrow, Oliver Queen, and that's a Brian Boland cover. I just thought it was a striking cover. I love the way the Sandman looks. I don't know anything about the Sandman, really, so interested in that. Green Lantern's never really been a character that interests me, but I'll definitely have a look at it as well. Love Green Arrow. Didn't realize this was his first appearance, although I think these are kind of reprints. If they're origin stories, they probably are. It's, you know, just something to read like that. Dollar bins are always fun to take a look through. Back over to the independent stuff. From Dynamite, we've got Space Ghost. This is issue number 11. I told you I was going to go for 12 issues on this. Just found out there's an annual as well. We're going to get that one. And I'm still waiting for issue number 9. Somewhere it got lost in translation, and the LCS had to order me another one. Hopefully that comes sooner or later, because this is a book I'm reading. This is a book I really like. So yes, I'm getting rid of it. Not because it's bad, but because I just want to do a few new things in the hobby. And Space Ghost is one of those I think I've read enough of for now. But this is a really fun series, and these Bjorn Barons variants are all I've been collecting. 2 more issues, I suppose, 3 more if I get issue number 9, to showcase those on a short at some point. I'm looking forward to that because I really love Bjorn's artwork. I think it's awesome. He too, one of my favorite artists working today. And then back over to the dollar bins. Yeah, this isn't a banana, but it's got a banana sticker. I'm going to see if I can take that off. You know, a little project, see what we can do to get that off of there. But this is Submariner, issue number 60 from January of 1973. The cover here done by Rich Buckler, Gasper Saladino, and Joe Sinet. So I guess there's a bit of shared artistry here, not to mention probably with the colors and the inks, everything else. But I can't say no to something like this sitting in the bins, especially for 50 cents. I didn't actually notice the banana sticker, but like I said, I'm going to try and take that off and we'll see what we can do. It might just be an exercise in understanding how to clean up some of your comics. Who knows? I'm not going to get into pressing or anything like that, that's for sure. All right, back over to the recent Marvel stuff. Here we've got West Coast Avengers issue number 5. This is the Luciano Vecchio variant. That's the only reason why I picked this up. I've been getting these other Vecchio variants, and I was curious as to why he didn't do the same thing for this one. Maybe he's only doing it for mutants, but then I saw he's got one for Captain America. Maybe he couldn't include... Maybe he had to include both characters, so couldn't do a single character like the other ones. I don't know. I'll show you the other ones that I'm talking about, but I love Vecchio's work. It's this kind of pseudo-cartoony look, which I really like. I love the thick lines and everything else. And these two characters look fantastic. I couldn't say no to the vibrancy and just the great sort of three-color color scheme of that. Super nice. Keeping with Marvel, just for the cover once again, because I love Storm, one of my favorites. Speaking of mutants, here we have X-Men. Issue number 13. This is the Ejikure Storm variant. Ejikure, one of my favorite artists as well today. Look at that. That is just awesome. Storm always commands a cover with her abilities. The obvious Storm, her amazing hair, her eyes, her outfit. This is just great, great, great looking covers. And this is what gets me when I'm going through the FOC. I'm just awestruck by some of the great artwork on these covers. So awesome. And another comic I'm really looking forward to getting into. I still haven't read issue 1. At least I don't think I have. And if I have and I've already forgotten, then that says some bad things about this. But you can't say anything bad about a David Nakayama variant. This is Atana issue number 2. Look at that. I love it. I love the shine on her legs. He's just got a knack for doing that kind of stuff, and I love that about it. This is just an awesome, awesome cover. And again, if I have read issue 1, but I don't think I have, and I'm looking forward to exploring this character because I know nothing about her other than she's magical, just like the cover. And then I always tell you, when I pick these things up, that the LCS has that little bin right next to the dollar bins, and these are trade paperbacks, things like that, for $5 each, or I think it's 3 for $10, I forget. But I got this one, Black Widow, the complete collection from March of 2020. Again, we've got a Chris Samney cover. He does all of the interiors. It's a little bit different. Love that. Super cool. I should have taken a video of that earlier, but that's okay. Yeah, Black Widow. This covers Black Widow issues 1 to 12 from the 2016-2017 run. I'm just excited to look at more of Chris Samney's work, read Mark Waid's stories, and enjoy a cool character like Black Widow. I do like Black Widow. I think she's pretty neat, so I love that. Well, there you have it, folks. That's everything. Hopefully you enjoyed that. And how about we get back to the real world, shall we? Well, it was a great stack of books. Hopefully you enjoyed what you saw, and if you did, why don't you like, comment, and subscribe? It really helps to build the channel, and I'd love to develop a community of people who just really love comics. Thank you so much for joining me today. We'll see you next week, and until then, remember, comics are good.